Guys, there's an old African proverb. Guys, there's an old African proverb that goes like this. If there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And I've heard Les Brown often refer to it in his speeches, and it's stuck with me. It's become part of me. It's my daily reminder to monitor what is going on in my mind. What do I think about myself? And now I'm challenging you to ask yourself daily, what are the thoughts that are going on in your mind about yourself? What do you think about yourself? If you are happy with yourself, that's wonderful because it's going to affect the amount of positive influence that you have around you. But if you're not happy with yourself, then how can you possibly admit and be the best part of you with others? So let's really monitor what's going on within. If we can come to peace with ourselves, then we can actually be our true great selves for everyone else. Hope this helps everyone. Have a great day. Hey guys, there's an old African proverb that goes like this. If there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And I've heard Les Brown often refer to it in his speeches, and it's stuck with me. It's become part of me. It's my daily reminder to monitor what is going on in my mind. What do I think about myself? And now I'm challenging you.
You've released the chains. You've given yourself wings.
So somebody that wants to completely transform who they are, you have to change your identity. So who am I? I'm the smart guy. And that's how I thought of myself. Like I thought of myself as being smart. And then the life slapped me around and I realized, oh, wow, I'm really actually not that smart. I just grew up in a small town. And so in my small town, I was smart enough. I was still never the smartest. But then I moved to LA and all of a sudden people smarter than me were just like growing on trees. So I was like, wow, I really don't feel smart anymore. So that was like a hard adjustment. And so then putting myself into these smaller and smaller rooms was the solution. But I realized that I'd been sort of taken as a default value intelligence. Maybe it was the family I grew up in or the movies I watched, I don't know. But I just had this default that being smart was the thing everyone should chase. And then I realized, oh, I can actually change that. Not everybody values themselves for that. And so I could swap that out with something else. And I want people to understand that those things that are just deeply within you that seem as if they are innate human qualities, challenge them all. Some things you won't be able to change, but some things are far more malleable than you thought. And a lot of what you value comes down to what you repeat. And so just repeating myself, I'm the learner, I'm the learner, I'm the learner. It began to be my identity and then rewarding myself emotionally when I did that, repeating it, rewarding, repeating, rewarding. Then it's like through that repetition cycle, it actually starts to be meaningful that you're the learner. And by the way, I was telling everybody, I'm the learner. I see myself as the learner. I'm the learner. I'm the learner. And because I was telling people, then I really felt the sense of congruence with wanting to act like the learner. And so when you say you're going to do something and you do it, you earn self-credibility. So now I've got this loop going. I said I was the learner. Here I am reading this book. Here I am being willing to admit when I'm wrong, seeking out knowledge, looking for disconfirming evidence. Like I get to feel good about myself for that.
The biggest hack to stop caring about other people's opinions, to stop living other people's version of your life, and to start actually feeling happy and proud of yourself, the biggest hack to doing that is to figure out what you stand for, to figure out your single most important core value. I believe that everybody has a single most important core value. And when you figure that out, it gives you a lot more clarity, a lot more direction, a lot more confidence, and allows you to start to do things that you never thought were possible. All of a sudden, that idea that you've got of, oh my gosh, I could do this thing, but then never taking action on it, things start to happen for you because you have that clarity of value. So I wrote 2 books on this, Your One Word and Built to Serve, and we go through the process of figuring out your one word or your who. Who are you? What do you stand for? What is that single most important core value? One of my favorite activities that I go through, I call it the 5 essential questions, but the most important one there, I find usually, is asking people, who was your favorite teacher growing up and why? So if you've understood the concept of, hey, I need to have a core value, I need to know what I stand for, I'm tired of being on quicksand, I'm tired of living other people's version of my life, okay, great. How do I figure it out? Do I just pick one at random? Do I just read a book? Like, how do I actually figure out what I stand for? Well, asking yourself that question, who your favorite teacher growing up was and why, I think it's critical. Think about it. You've had how many teachers in your life? Think about your school, elementary school, high school, university, if you went to a college, other teachers you've had. You've had lots of teachers growing up. And chances are, most of your teachers, if you walked past them on a street corner, you wouldn't recognize them. That's how little of an impact they've had on you. Think about your high school teachers. If they walked past you right now, you wouldn't know who they were because they had no impact. But there's always that one teacher that stood out. There's one teacher that stood out for you. Why? It wasn't because they taught you grade 8 math. It's because they made you feel different as a human. They gave you something more than just a subject matter they were teaching. And that gives you a clue. Why did you like that teacher? Gives you a clue as to who you are and what you want to spread into other people. So, quick example. My favorite teacher growing up was Madame Farr. Madame Farr was my grade 12 French teacher. And I didn't love her because she taught me French. I barely use French on a day-to-day basis. What she taught me was to believe in myself. I was a B and C student going into my last year of high school. And she would meet with me every week. Before school started, once a week, we'd sit down, we'd chat, we'd talk about life, we'd talk about school, we'd talk about where I was at, we'd talk about what was on my mind. And in those conversations, she made me feel like I could do more. That her belief in me created more belief in myself. And in that last year, I went from being a B and C student to straight 90s, straight A+. I was still the same guy. I still had the same ability and the same talent. You know, she wasn't passing me the answers to the test that I had. It was just that belief in me that she gave me that allowed me to go off and start to perform more. So I think that's the most important question you can ask. Another one you can look at is, what was your favorite movie growing up and why? What's your favorite movie of all time? Why? There's so many movies that you've watched. Most of them you don't remember, but there's one that sticks out, that really stands out for you in some way for some reason. My favorite movie is Seabiscuit. It's about this horse that is way too small. It's about this jockey that's way too big. It's about this owner that's bankrupt. And somehow they all find each other and start winning a whole bunch of races when they shouldn't be, you know? And it's based off of a true story, and it ended up lifting a nation. The people love this underdog story, and it's a story of belief. Same thing. It's a story of belief. We all, at least for me, I love the idea of being that Seabiscuit, or being the jockey, or being the owner, and helping not just each other believe in themselves, but also the nation, for the audience, for the fans, helping them believe in themselves. And so if you started asking those questions, if you started thinking about who are the people that make you come alive, that make you feel like you're a better person, or what are the resources, or what are the YouTube channels, or Instagram accounts, or books, or podcasts, or shows, what are the things that have made you come alive? What are the things that have made you feel like you could do more? And then next to each one, write down a couple of words. So your favorite teacher growing up, who was it? And then why? 3 words to explain why. Your favorite movie of all time, and then 3 words. Why? And what you'll find is, as you do this exercise, you'll see some similar patterns. You'll see some words pop off the page. You'll see that same word come up a couple times. That's your who. That's your single most important core value. That's what you still need more of in your life right now. And that's what you want to give to the world. The other great part about it is that will be with you for life. This isn't something that we want to change. This is who you are. This is your best version of you. At my core, I'm the best when I believe in myself. And my biggest problem is still, I need to believe in myself more to get to the next level. When you figure out your most important core value, your who, your one word, it's still what you need right now. My biggest challenge right now is that I don't believe in myself to hit the next level. And it's what you want to give to the people around you. If you're watching this, you're probably an entrepreneur. You want to give to the world. You want to have a big mission. You have a big message. But some people, like Nina, who was just here, she doesn't have a big message, but she wants to help the closest people to her. We all want to feel like what we do matters. We all want to feel like we're having an impact on people, whether the closest people to us or to the world. But we're stuck and we're lost and we need guidance. And if you feel like you have all these ideas, but you don't know how they all make sense, and you don't know that you feel like it could be something, but you don't know how to get there, there's not enough momentum happening, it's because you're not in touch with your single most important core value. Here's an example. If I'm struggling to do something, I'm struggling to get on stage to speak, I'm struggling to turn on the camera to make a video for you, I'm struggling to launch my next project, you know, I get an idea and then I say, oh, I can't do that. What do I need? At the end of the day, what do I really need? Like, what's the thing that's going to turn that idea into actual action? I need more belief. And so when I can catch myself procrastinating, finding excuses, saying no when I shouldn't be, I can quickly reverse it by saying, Evan, you need to believe more in yourself, because that's at the core of who I am. And when I can catch it, then it gives me the courage to go off and do it, to record the video, to get on stage, to launch that project, to say yes, to say yes, to say yes. I think of Alex, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa, who is Belong. He needs to belong more with himself, and he needs to spread more belong to the world. And whenever he's not happy, and whenever he's not following through, and whenever he's not hitting his goals and doing the work, it's because he doesn't feel like he belongs. Doesn't feel like he belongs to himself, and he doesn't feel like he's spreading belong to the world. If you are stuck, if you are going too slow, if you have all of this unrealized potential inside you, the thing that is missing is you not following through on who you say you want to be. You're not matching that potential. How you make it practical is to figure out your who. Because every time you come back to that and say, I just need more of X, I need more hope, I need more freedom, I need more belief, I need more belong, I need more love, I need more care for myself, and then to spread it to the world. And when you can feel that, when you can actually feel that, it'll dramatically change how you show up. All of a sudden now you're making progress where you weren't before. You're accomplishing more in a day than you were in a year. You've released the chains. You've given yourself wings. You've given yourself the permission to actually go off and do the scary thing that's inside you, because now you know who you are. Figure out your one word. Figure out your who. Watch your life change.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Ella no quiere flores ni tarjeticas de colores. Ella es práctica, chica blanca, quiere que la controlen. No le gustan las pasiones. Ella es práctica, chica práctica. Ella no quiere flores ni tarjeticas de colores.
guys. Morning, guys. Today, Les Brown shares with us his rule number 1 for top 10 rules for success, and that is a big one. It is believe in yourself. This one is everything for all of us. He reminds us that every day it's a selling job. It's a selling job on you selling yourself about what you can do. It is the daily grind of going into your thoughts, and every time there's a negative thought, replacing it with that positive thought about you. So you're in the business of selling yourself, selling the job that you can do on you, on your greater you. So no matter what you feel, yeah, you're going to have defeats. You're going to have these negative thoughts that come at you. You're going to have failures. But every day you have to continue to go back at it again. Stand up within yourself and say, I'm going to do it differently this time. I'm going to keep going until I get to where I want to be. It's that belief in yourself that activates the full power of our mind to be our great self. Have a great day, everyone.
Want to be happy? Build a
Someone like that. You know, I mean,
Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know there's something more inside you too. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best believe life and learn what entrepreneurial legends think about Elon Musk.
Elon Musk has built a great electric car. He's designed and built reusable rockets. He's an innovator in tunneling technology. Bill, you knew Steve Jobs relatively well. Microsoft competed vigorously with Apple. Microsoft, when you were CEO, was an investor in Apple. People have described Elon Musk as the new Steve Jobs. Is he the new Steve Jobs?
If you know people personally, then that kind of gross oversimplification, it seems strange. Elon's more of a hands-on engineer. Steve was a genius at design and picking people and marketing. You wouldn't walk into a room and confuse them with each other. The fact that Elon Musk and others did a great electric car is a huge contribution to the climate change effort. That he did it with quality. It's still a little premium priced, but fine. He's got that initial market, and that market's going to grow, and all the other car companies seeing his success will come in.
Up next is Warren Buffett.
What do you think of Elon Musk, though? If you met him, and would you invest in Tesla?
Well, I think you're trying to bait me a little bit.
I'm just asking you. You can say no, and no, or yes,
listen,
yes,
he's
and
done
yes.
some remarkable things.
Have you met him?
Oh, yeah. He joined the Giving Pledge some years ago. I've only met him once or twice. Yeah, I've talked with him, but not for quite a while.
And would you invest in Tesla?
No.
Do you even know Elon Musk?
I've never said anything negative about Elon. I mean, you're baiting me a little bit to do it. But,
I am.
But I've never, people like his car and everything, but somebody mentioned that now he's talking about financing. Something this morning about that. I thought I heard that earlier.
Yes, well, actually, Andrew just read some headlines where it looked like Tesla may be going back to market to pick up some additional financing. I'm not entirely sure.
Well,
all I heard was the headline.
That's what I call a counter-revelation. I mean, Charlie, because I think it was just a few days ago they said they wouldn't need financing. But he's trying something to improve a product, and I salute him for that.
Up next, Jordan Peterson.
you see someone like Elon Musk. I mean, what the hell do you make of someone like that? I mean, what did he do? He made an electric car, which is basically impossible, and it works, which is basically impossible. And then he built an infrastructure so that you could charge the damn thing wherever you drove, and that was basically impossible. And then he made it cheap, because if you buy an electric car and you factor in the price of gas, the electric car is actually about as expensive as the gasoline car, and so that was unbelievable. And then he built a bloody rocket, which was 1/10 the price or less that of a NASA rocket that you could reuse, which was impossible. And then he put one of his cars on top of the rocket and he shot it up into space. And then this happened, right? This all happened, and he's still alive. And, you know, and then he went and blew it all by smoking pot on Joe Rogan, you know, because, well, it's so funny, you know. We like our insane geniuses, like, predictable and safe. And so we don't want them doing strange things like having a tiny puff of marijuana on a show famous for marijuana.
Up next is Richard Branson.
First of all, tell me what you thought about the Elon Musk, the Falcon Heavy launch. You must have loved it.
I was a little bit jealous.
A little bit jealous?
I mean, Elon and his team are extraordinary what they achieved, and they all did just fantastic.
Well, competition is healthy, right?
All I can say is watch this space, and we will be coming we're coming hopefully out with something very exciting over the next very few months.
Up next, Donald Trump.
Tesla's now worth more than GM and Ford. Do you have comments on Elon Musk?
Well, you have to give him credit. I spoke to him very recently, and he's also doing the rockets. He likes rockets, and he does good at rockets, too, by the way. I never saw where the engines come down with no wings, no anything, and they're landing. I said, I've never seen that before. And I was worried about him because he's one of our great geniuses, and we have to protect our genius. You know, we have to protect Thomas Edison, and we have to protect all of these people that came up with originally the light bulb and the wheel and all of these things. And he's one of our very smart people, and we want to cherish those people. That's very important. But he's done a very good job. Shocking how well, you know, how it's come so fast. I mean, you go back a year, and they were talking about the end of the company, and now all of a sudden they're talking about these great things. He's going to be building a very big plant in the United States. He has to, because we help him, so he has to help us.
Up next is Barbara Corcoran.
I own a Tesla, and don't say anything wrong to me about that company. All right, I invest in it. All you have to do is get a Tesla or borrow one and drive around, and you are sold. These guys are just hedging their bets. They don't want to be wrong in their predictions, so they're taking it down a little. It's all nonsense.
So you own a Tesla.
That guy's a winner.
You own a Tesla.
Absolutely.
But I mean, what about the competition?
The dashboard alone is enough to just buy. Just if they sold me the dashboard, I'd be happy sitting at home looking at it.
Without wheels, without anything else. Just want the dashboard.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the concept, though. It is a nicely made car.
Better than nice. It's gorgeous.
Barbara, I didn't think you'd be such a big Elon Musk fan, but it's
definitely.
really.
I love his car.
He is core to the company too, though, right? You're talking about a way that he leads the company. It is Elon Musk's company.
He's rough, but let me tell you, any great leader is rough. Any great leader has a strong opinion and isn't so smooth on the edges and drives it home. But that's what you want when you want to reinvent a category, and that's what he's done. You have to hand it to the guy. And he's good looking, I think.
Up next, Charlie Munger.
One of my favorite lines from you is you want to hire the guy with the IQ of 130 that thinks it's 120, and the guy with an IQ of 150 who thinks it's 170 will just kill you.
You must be thinking about Elon Musk.
What do you think about Tesla? Is that company going to become a major player?
Well, it's already created more significance than anybody would have predicted. And its founder is bold and brilliant and swings for the fences. And of course, people like that get some remarkable results, and sometimes they get some quick failure. And I haven't the faintest idea how Elon Musk is going to turn out, but I think he's got a considerable chance of success and a considerable chance of failure. He seems to like it that way.
Have you considered overnight Elon Musk getting into the candy business as he suggested he might do on Twitter?
I didn't hear that. It sounds like wiseassery.
I want to ask you about Tesla. The company has a market capitalization of about $140 billion. It traded last week about $200 billion in stock and traded about $500 billion in options. And the stock moved about 20% a day. Meanwhile, Mr. Musk seems thrilled to stoke this volatility. I wanted to know what your thoughts are on this situation, and particularly what your thoughts are on Mr. Musk's behavior.
My thoughts are two. I would never buy it, and I would never sell short. I have a third comment. There's a man found in Los Angeles for years named Howard Amundsen. He once said something that I've taken to my heart. He said, never underestimate the man who overestimates himself. I think Elon Musk is peculiar, and he may overestimate himself, but he may not be wrong all the time. Elon says a conventional mode is quaint, and that's true of a puddle of water. And he says that the best mode would be to have a big competitive position, and that is also right. You know, it's ridiculous.
Up next is Steve Forbes.
Whatever you want to say about Elon Musk as an entrepreneur, as an actor, he also is a person who knows how to move markets. When he made disparaging remarks on Saturday Night Live about Dogecoin, or however you pronounce the thing, that asset collapsed, or certainly went down in value. Elon Musk buying Bitcoin several months ago for Tesla and saying they'd accept Bitcoin as a payment for Tesla cars. It's made Bitcoin a respectable vehicle, or certainly added respectability to it. Now the announcement that Tesla would no longer accept Bitcoin as payment sent that asset down several $1,000s in value. So this is a man who moves markets. And the reason why is because people see Elon Musk as one who looks at things with a different set of eyes. And if he sees something like some virtue in cryptocurrencies, by golly, you better take a close look at them and re-examine if you're against them. Do a re-examination.
Up next, Sadhguru.
I'm a big fan of Elon Musk, and he's on interplanetary travel, and that's what's on the card.
You also going to Mars?
No, not yet. I don't have so much money. But so he's talking about evolution of human beings. He wants to be buried on Mars, right? I think the last time we evolved was more than 15,000 years ago, and we may be due for an update. Where do you think the human race is going to go in the next 100 or maybe even 500 years, and how do you think we're going to upgrade? How are we going to evolve?
I don't want to comment on Elon Musk. Well, he's made a nice car. Okay. The first one that he made on the Lotus platform, yeah. So that was faster than a Ferrari. I drove that one. So I have no complaints about him. But he must restrict himself to cars, maybe airplanes, maybe even a rocket. But he shouldn't talk about human mechanism. It's a different matter.
And the last one before some very special bonus clips is Mark Cuban.
Talk to me about Tesla. How do you view this whole situation?
Look, when you invest in an entrepreneur, you get the entrepreneur, and Elon is quite the entrepreneur. So how can anybody expect anything different? And if you look at the great companies right now with the largest market caps, I mean, Apple, Steve Jobs, everybody complained at one point or another about Steve. He got fired. You look at Amazon, everybody complained about Jeff. Oh, he's not trying to make any money. He's not giving guidance. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. Reed Hastings, the same thing. You know, when you invest in an entrepreneur, you get the personality. And if that's not appropriate, if you don't think it's right, buy another stock.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, the fundamentals matter, don't they? I mean, whether Tesla's going to go private or not, that's at the heart of this conversation.
But fundamentals, it depends where you are in your life cycle, right, or the growth cycle of the company. You know, if you look at the companies I just mentioned, you know, everybody complained about Amazon. Fundamentals matter. Everybody complained about Netflix. Fundamentals mattered. Again, Steve Jobs got fired from Apple. Fundamentals matter. And they brought in John Sculley, a traditional entrepreneur or a traditional CEO who was good at what he did, but he wasn't the guy to drive Apple to new heights. They had to bring Steve back. That's just the nature of great companies. These guys, you know, they don't cash out like me. They stay there because they're committed and they're dedicated. And you've got to take the, you know, some of the uniqueness of each person as part of what you invest in.
If you were a shareholder in Tesla, and I don't believe you are, correct me if I am wrong.
Not.
How should shareholders, though, feel about a tweet coming out saying funding secured, the stock gets halted? Now what if the deal doesn't happen?
I mean, look, I guess that's the way we run the country, run some companies now too. But what I would tell Elon, and I don't know him at all, and I do have 2 Teslas, by the way, I would tell him shorts are your friends. I mean, going back 20 years when we ran broadcast.com, we were like a lot of internet companies heavily shorted. And, the beauty of shorts is if you have a good quarter, if you do your job, then they have to buy back the stock at some point. And so I would sit down with them and say, look, rather than getting all upset about shorts, the more people that short your stock, the better position you have, the more, the more buyers you have in waiting. And so I think that's kind of the attitude someone's got to get to him. But again, this is a guy who's sleeping in the factory. This is a guy who's pushing. And if you go through the list of all the companies I just mentioned, all the FANGs, maybe with the exception of Google, I mean, even Facebook. When Facebook went public, then they had the questions about mobile. Then people questioned whether or not Zuckerberg can run it. Now Facebook's going through other issues. Again, people are questioning Zuckerberg. Great entrepreneurs who are so committed to their companies that they are never going to leave. They want to take it as far as they can take it. They are going to be unique, and there are going to be issues in how they address the public and how they address shareholders. And that's the beauty of why those companies are so amazing and so big. And so I would tell shareholders, be grateful that you have somebody that committed to the company and recognize that, being unique is what has helped make Elon or help make Tesla so successful.
You think he's taken the shorts too seriously or
Yeah,
become
absolutely.
consumed with what short sellers have been saying?
Yeah, it's hard not to, right? When it's your baby, a lot of times it's hard not to take all that personally. It's hard not to feel it inside of you. To be a great entrepreneur, you've got to be so competitive. And all the people that I've mentioned all had their persnickety issues, but they were all incredibly competitive, and including Elon. And when you're that competitive and people are nailing and talking bad about your family like that, it's hard not to respond. And he's got to learn not to respond. But look, it happens to me talking about the Mavericks. It happens to a lot of different people. When you're criticized, it's hard not to return fire sometimes.
What about Elon Musk? We've been talking about him a little bit. Genius, clearly. Questions about execution and how he's conducting himself publicly when so much is riding on his public image. Would you put more into his companies, into Tesla, for example, as an investor after that last earnings call?
Yeah, look, I think he hits the nail on the head. Look, it's okay for a CEO to have some stuff to him or her, right? It's okay for them to have an attitude. You don't have to be vanilla all the time. That's just life. I mean, unlike other founders, not even CEOs, but unlike other founders who have their lives all built up into one company, he puts his heart out there and he puts his finances out there. You can respect Elon Musk for his genius, but you have to really respect it because he puts every cent that he has on the line. This is not like, I got all my money out. Every one of these companies he puts his own cash into, and he's gone to the limit. And so, look, it's his baby. He sees the vision. He has to execute. You can argue that he's going to need to raise cash or this or that, but everything he has is wrapped up in it as far as I understand it. And I think for that reason, I'm not necessarily a buyer because I don't know the industry, but you've got to trust him. And I don't think the stuff on the conference call was anything at all. That was just Michigan.
You said
on top of the roof, flexing them as hard as I can. Eating halal, driving a lamb. So that bitch, I'm sorry though. Got my coins like Mario. Yeah, they call me Cardi B. I run this shit like cardio. I'm in district in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome. What's his name? I need the dollars to change. Beat it up like a pinata. Tell the job, close the curtains. Bad chick make him nervous.
Chambean, chambean, pero no jalan. Tú compras todas las Jolambo, a mí me las regalan. I spend in the club, what you have in the bank. This is the new religion bank, el Latino gang. Yeah, está toda servieta, pero es que en el closet tengo mucha grasa. Ya mudé la Gucci pa' dentro de casa, yeah. A ti no te conocen ni en plaza. El diablo me llama, pero Jesucristo me abraza. Guerrero como Eddie, que viva la raza, yeah. Me gustan boricua, me gustan cubana. Me gusta el acento de la colombiana. Como me ve la dominicana. Lo rico que me chinga la venezolana. Andamos activos, perico, pim, pim. Billetes de 100 en el maletín. Que retumbe el bajo y Valentín, yeah. Aquí prohibido amar, dile charitín. Que per pico le tengo claritín. Yo llego a la disco y se forma el motín.
I'm in district in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome. What's his name? I need the dollars to change. Beat it up like pinata. Tell the job, close the curtains. Bad chick make him nervous.
Como Celia Cruz tengo el azúcar. Tú que va medio y se fue de pecho como Ginny Luca. Te vamos a tumbar la peluca y arranca pa'l carajo. Que a ti no te va a pasar la boca. Mi tele y Valenciaga me reciben en la entrada. Para, sí, like I'm Lady Gaga. Y no te me hagas, que en cover de Billboard tú has visto mi cara. No salgo de tu mente, donde quiera que viajes, he escuchado mi gente. Ya no soy high, soy como el testa rosa. Soy el que se la vive y también el que la goza. Goza, es la cosa, mami es la cosa. El que mira sufre y el que toca goza. I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that. I'm in district in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome. What's his name?
Morning, guys. I want to share with you a personal story that will highlight how amazing this path is to infinite mind wealth that we're on together, and I'm openly sharing with you. And the story I want to share was a couple of weeks ago. I was having a moment where I was feeling really inspirational, really sort of proud of the things I'm doing, and just kind of breaking down my own walls of self-limiting beliefs and doing some of the things that I never thought I would do, especially in the year 2018. And then I actually got to a point where I realized I almost got angry at myself because I thought, what's been going on all these years that have prevented me from doing the things I'm doing now? And then I started sort of laughing inwardly to myself. I thought, it's all about getting out of our comfort zone. So then I thought, what else is there that I thought I couldn't do that I can do? And I challenge you to remember this too. What are we really stopping ourselves from doing? Have a great day, everyone.
Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Top 10 Rules of Success.
There's enthusiasm.
Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Top 10 Rules of Success. Today, we'll learn from Brendon Burchard on how to command our vision, set big, achievable goals, and take control of our success. Enjoy.
Every morning, you got to get up, you got to pick up that spear of purpose, you got to cast it as far as you can see it today. Throw that spear of purpose as far as you can today, as far as you can. And then your day is to go march towards that spear with so much commitment, so much discipline, so much resilience that then you get that spear, you get to throw it out as far as you can again. That is having the vision, and that is having the discipline to go get it. The interesting thing is you have to take that outside of your head. You probably have a clearer vision for what's important to you than your wife does, than your partner does, than your friends do, than your family does. And so a huge part of the vision principle is you've got to communicate it more. You got to help everybody see what that vision ends up being, where they participated or they didn't, depending on your timing. And now it's like, oh, this is the thing we're rallying around. This is the spear. I'm going to throw it. We're going to go together. Okay, great. Let's go. And that command of the vision is what I mean by the vision decision. It doesn't mean other people didn't participate in it, but you own it. You own it. The big part about it is your life's decisions, whether you are conscious or unconscious throughout your life, your life's decisions were leading to a vision. And today's a good opportunity to say, is this the vision? Is this what I wanted? Or did I not know what I wanted? Did I just go along the ride with everybody else and do what everyone else told me my whole life? Or did I architect this? Was I thoughtful about what the decision was, what I was after? Today's a good day to look at the vision you have for your life and ask, does it match what your reality is today?
Rule number 2, be enthusiastic.
I think enthusiasm is the master of all emotion, right? Even more than love. You're like, you're crazy. I'm like, no. I know lots of people who have love, but there's no enthusiasm in the relationship anymore. There's no intimacy, no pop, no vibrancy, no variety. It's like they care for each other, but there's no energy behind it. I think the energy behind things is enthusiasm. When we're excited about building our life together, or listen, when we're excited about solving this problem together. I remember the first, I was doing a divorce referred mediation. I was in grad school. And I knew this couple was going to survive. It was 5 minutes into this thing because they were just like, we are so excited to solve this thing together. And I was like, you're gonna be great. I immediately knew. And it was so easy. It was not easy. It was so well resolved because there was enthusiasm. Even if we don't agree, enthusiasm for the solution. Enthusiasm to move out of this crappy time. I love when people do coaching or counseling, and I've talked to therapists who go, oh my gosh, they were so happy to finally share their hatred for each other. They were so enthusiastic to get it out and to talk about it and to start working on it. The enthusiasm to work on it, the enthusiasm to improve it, the enthusiasm to build that future together, the enthusiasm to resolve it, that is such an indicator of things. So how do you feel? Are you enthusiastic to improve that relationship, to grow it? Are you enthusiastic to go deeper, enthusiastic to do the things for your other who just loves it? Are you enthusiastic about them and their life? So important.
Rule number 3, put out positivity.
You have to learn to role model positivity and good values, right? It's super hard to attack me online at this point because for a decade and over 300 episodes of a podcast and over 200 episodes of my YouTube videos and 6 best-selling books and literally being on stage in front of millions of people and graduating millions of people from our online courses, just the effort of all that, the messaging is so clear. right? I'm the guy that tells you to be more intentional. I'm the guy that tells you to be a role model. I'm the guy that tells you be excellent at what you do so you can be of greater service to the world. And the more I talk about living fully and loving openly and making more of a difference, of stepping into that role model mindset, of honoring the struggles of life, in being authentically you, the message ends up standing for itself. You know, they could attack you in a video, or they might not like my shirt in this video, or they might think it's stupid I took a picture of, you know, the cat, or, you know, they judge me or my clothes or my wife or something they see. But the totality of what you have done, no one gets to take away from that. They just don't, even if they attack it, because here's what happens. Remember, as you build that big tribe, you've imbued good values into the marketplace, your tribe starts fighting for you. Your tribe starts canceling the haters. Your tribe starts fighting back for you, explaining for you. Your tribe starts getting your back because they're like, wait, why are you judging this guy? He's put out a decade of free content. Why are you judging this person? They've done all of these good works. And your community, your tribe ends up getting your back when you have imbued that tribe with good values and honestly demonstrated, but also commanded, demanded, begged, pleaded, cajoled for people to be positive forces in the world. You know, at base of all of my messaging has always been that did I matter message. That message about servant leadership, that message about get so good at what you do so you can be of greater service to the world. Like, how do the haters come at me when my message is about contribution? That's what you want to think about, is that as you role model positivity, contribution, good values in the world, your tribe stands up for you, but you also stand up for yourself more. Because you know true, down deep in your heart, you're doing good work. Like, no one can make me question my work. I'm going to do this. I tell my team all the time, I'm going to do this till I'm 100 years old. Like, I'm always going to be that guy putting out personal development and psychology work. I love that field. It's what I care deeply about, and it's what I've stood for a decade, and no one gets to take that away from me. No one gets to take it away from you. So please don't let a hater ever slow you down. I hope that supports you, and I hope you always believe in your message. You have a voice, you have great art and contributions to give to the world. Do not slow down.
Rule number 4, give attention.
When's the last time you tried to make the person you're talking with feel like the only person in the world? You know, we do that when we're dating. We're out on a new date with somebody. Man, we just want to shine them with all that attention. But over a period of time, it's like, honey, get me a beer. Or, you know, people just stop paying attention. They don't even see the people they're talking with. They never look in the eye and actually connect anymore. They don't try to make that person unique and amazing. And so what happens? The vibe between the two people is lost. So, have you been doing a good job in that department, making the person in front of you the only person in the world? You want to have a better relationship with your kids, or your spouse, or your team, or the new people you meet at networking functions. I mean, it doesn't matter. When you meet a person, if you just shine your full attention on them, they're gonna be like, that person has such good energy. I don't even know why. It's because you're giving them attention.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, set goals.
When building a team, what are the strategies for influencing them to work towards a common vision? Number 1, if you are just establishing the team, remember, people support what they create, so get their ideation involved in that. But 2, make sure that team on a weekly or monthly basis is revisiting that vision and talking about, have them like facilitate a process where they talk about how their contributions or what they created serve that vision, serve that mission. So that can be as simple as, hey, share with me what you did this last month, but make sure you talk about how does that help, like in our company, our mission is to change lives. So it's like, okay, how did what you do translate into changing lives? Talk about that. and just get people talking about it way more often, man. Like that's a big piece about it, is that most people are doing like status updates, but they're not talking about how their work directly touches the vision. And if you can get them seeing that and having that conversation more often, they'll naturally start supporting it because people support what they talk about a lot, right? So you want to get them talking about it. I would also say that you've got to have some kind of measurement system in place, whether it's quarterly goals or weekly or monthly rhythms, whatever it is, where they're maintaining some type of momentum, right? Everyone loses touch of the vision when there's not momentum in the company, when there's not momentum in their role. You could have the greatest, heartfelt, caring, awesome situation in terms of a vision or a mission in the world. But if no one senses they're moving towards it, there's nothing you can do to get them to love it more. So you, as a leader, have to make sure people are moving towards it and they're getting recognized and appreciated for it. Otherwise, I mean, it could be, you know, a mission of saving babies, and they'll get bored with the vision. Even though it's a beautiful thing, but if they're not actually doing any work that's contributing to it, they're out.
Rule number 6, take responsibility.
All of personal development, the good part about it, is about the difficult decisions. I really believe that. It's about the difficult decisions, and it's about the disciplined habits that keep us growing and extending and reaching new levels of our potential. That's why I love it. That's why I love personal development. That's why I love it so much. Doesn't matter how much I'm working, how tired I am, where I've been in the world, how much travel, how much work. Doesn't matter what's going on with my family, my life, my finances, or whatever. I love personal development because it commands so much from you. It says, oh, you want to grow? Look at where you are, young man. Look at where you are, young lady. Decide, is that the vision you have for your life? No? Then make the hard decisions, practice those disciplined habits to go where you want to go. I love that stuff. Today's a good day to evaluate the vision you have for your life, overlay that to how your life really is, and then make the difficult decisions to start more disciplined, moving towards that vision that you want. It's the stuff of accountability that lies within this principle. So when I talk about the vision decision, it's you own it, you're responsible for it, you've got to communicate it, and you got to be real about whether that vision is mapping to today. And if it's not, you got to initiate the decisions or the discussions with others to make the decisions.
Rule number 7, facilitate participation.
I've got ideas how to make my team more high performing, but some of these ideas involve organizational changes that would require buy-in from my managers and peers. What can I do to persuade others in a culture where change is often resisted and slow? You know what? Change is almost always resisted, and it's always slow. So the most important thing you can do, Jeff, is to realize a simple phrase. I teach it in everything I do. I might have been in the video. And that the most 5 powerful words in all of leadership is people support what they create. If you want buy-in from people, you have to facilitate a process where they came up with the answers. If you want buy-in from people, you have to facilitate the discussions and the meetings and the decision-making process in which people put their ideas into that hat, because then when it's their idea, they support it. When they had no input towards the idea, they always fight it. If they got to contribute one little piece of it, even if they don't want to do it. And I've had conversations with team members of one of our companies before where it's like, listen, I know you don't like the idea and you're not even sure of the general direction, but I want to make sure you've got at least a piece of it. So what's one thing you could contribute or give to make this more successful? What's one area you could play in what we're going to do that you might like? And just get them, get their foot in the door of doing something or contributing something or agreeing to something. Because when people have skin in the game, which is their ideas, or they can see their future towards it, when they have that kind of skin in the game, they get excited about it and they support it. The worst thing you can do is go roll out something to everybody that changes everything without having had them participate. Right? Participation gets buy-in. Got it? Participation gets the buy-in.
Rule number 8, encourage others.
The strongest relationships are built on encouragement, right? we know this from the social sciences. I know many of you guys heard me recommend, for the last decade, the work by John Gottman and his wife in research and relationships. I love that work. And one of the critical things that came out of that was such a simple distinction that happy couples tend to praise each other 5 times more than they complain or negate. And whether that ratio is true in all relationships across all cultures is probably not super validated. But what I do believe is the simple way to break that down is encourage your partner a lot. A lot. Encourage them, cheer them on. You know they got a big day? Do something. Look, here, I got this on this laptop over here from Denise. Can I see that? You guys probably can't see this, too. No, I'm not gonna show. It's a Post-it note that she gave me like 6 months ago. I still have it on my computer. It says, I love you, I appreciate you, I know you are doing big things. I love you, I appreciate you, I know you are doing things. It was just a Post-it note she put on my computer in a really particularly difficult week that I was having. And we're both pretty good about leaving little notes around for each other, especially when we're traveling or we'll be apart or something like that. But also throughout the day. Like she put something over there that she likes, or she does. I'm like, I love that, good job, that's amazing. And we don't say that flippantly. Like we were like, that's great, that's amazing. Like we cheer each other on a lot. And I think that's huge. The ability to encourage one another is so vital.
Rule number 9, be a good leader.
How do you ensure that a new team member is quickly integrated into the high-performing team? Andrea, 2 things. Number 1, you make sure you understand where that new team member is going to play, and you assign a lead in your company to mentor that person. You make sure, first and foremost, if it's your team, you sit them down, you talk through some of the things that I've covered so far already about what is it that we do here? What are we trying to create here? That you make sure that that person is really clear about kind of like what they're going to be doing on a weekly or a monthly or a quarterly rhythm. Like a rhythm is everything, which we'll talk about. And that they have somebody who's kind of their peer or their guide or their lead over their first 60 to 90 days at the company. It's huge, 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 especially if they're not starting with a group. I tend to like to hire in groups, and I highly, highly recommend that. If you're gonna hire another 5 people, don't hire 1 in September, 1 in October, 1 in November. Be like, okay, I guess if that means hiring people earlier, you hire them earlier, a little later, a little later. But if you can hire in groups, then you create culture. If you're always hiring one-offs, it's harder to do that. So first, hire in groups. If you can't hire in group, hire that lead, make sure that they are very clear on their rhythm, and that will help Andrea Soldat to assist you with how to think through that process.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is bring joy.
People with good mojo, they have more joy and enthusiasm for what's coming up and for what they're experiencing. So in this present moment, they're taking it in more with a great level of appreciation and gratitude. And because they're doing that, they're kind of playing with the moment right now. There's joy. It's kind of like they're that person who's opening that gift at Christmas. You know, they don't even know what's in it. It could be a small gift, a big gift, but they're excited. You can see there's enthusiasm for unwrapping this gift. Well, they bring that same joy and that same enthusiasm to unwrapping this experience that we're gonna have together, for unwrapping this moment, for even if they're just at the restaurant waiting for the meal, they're excited for the meal to come. There's an amazing mojo around them because there's enthusiasm. You know, they're breathing life into the moment. They're feeling a sense of excitement for what's about to come next. So they're so fun to hang out with because it always feels like something's about to happen because you can just sense that energy from them, that they're excited and appreciative of the moment.